Hey sports fans, Coach Nick here and welcome to B-Ball Breakdown. We have very exciting news to announce today because we are relaunching our website BBallBreakdown.com with a new look and new content, and it will be run by the editor-in-chief, Mark Deeks. Mark, thanks for coming on. I wanted you to give us an overview of what BBallBreakdown.com is going to look like and what people should expect.
Yeah, good to be talking with you. What we're going to do, we're going to build a new facet to B-Ball Breakdown. We're going to take your videos, your breakdowns that you already have, and we're going to add a .com side to this. We're going to add the writing media to complement and coincide with your video media. We're going to deal with the minutiae, the esoterica, the in-depth NBA analysis that you do, and we're going to do it via a different medium. So now you're going to come at you in a pincer movement. We've got the writing, we've got the videos, and we're going to absolutely do the highest grade analysis we can possibly do via many more media than you already have done.
Now you're going to also write some stuff, so what's your focus going to be?
Personally, I'm a little bit of a geek. I like to write about how teams are built, the transactions, the CBA. But I'm interested in whatever that involves, be it player scouting, player breakdowns, whatever. For the most part, that involves things like cap ramifications. It's a different kind of breakdown, but it's still detailed and intricate and difficult, and yeah, that's the kind of thing I personally am most into. We've got other members of the team who like to do that same sort of thing. We've got more player breakdowns, and yeah, anything in depth is anything we want. Yeah.
Beautiful. Well, sports fans, if you don't know Mark's work, he is one of the very few on the planet that has a working knowledge of the CBA for the NBA. And so he, without question, is going to be the go-to guy when we have questions about salary caps and how contracts fit together and why these teams are doing what they're doing. So it's going to be some great stuff. And I want you to stay tuned now because we're going to show you a really comprehensive breakdown on what shooting consistently means and who actually does it. One of the most important skills that exists in the NBA is the ability to shoot the three-pointer with accuracy. Every year, the number of three-point shot attempts goes up as more and more players add the shot to their bag of tricks. It seems every team wants to spread the floor and shoot either layups or threes, but the question isn't should teams be shooting threes at such volume. The question is, should some of these high-volume shooters be shooting threes at all? The single most important trait a coach covets is consistency. There is nothing worse than having a player who might nail 6 threes one night, then not hit another one for 3 games. So we set out to find which players in the league are most consistent from three-point land. While there are plenty of ways to calculate this nebulous concept, with the help of Arturo Galletti of Box Score Geeks, here's what we came up with. First, we eliminated all three-point heaves from beyond 31 feet that typically happen at the end of quarters. Then, we laid out all of their shots linearly to chart the consecutive makes and misses. After averaging each of these numbers, we divided the makes into the misses to come up with the consistency average. At the top of this list is Kyle Korver at 90.3%, and at the bottom is Tony Wroten at 31.4%. Right in the middle is Luke Babbitt at 58.5%. What became clear is that there are basically 4 groups of shooters: the consistently good and bad, and inconsistently good and bad. There are players who have good three-point field goal percentages, but tend to bunch them up and have a low consistency percentage. The first name to jump out at us was J.R. Smith, who was the only player to shoot at least 40% from 3, but had a consistency average less than 60%. His average consecutive makes was 1.64, which put him 63rd out of 206 players. Danny Green wasn't far behind, with an elite field goal percentage of 42%, but just cleared the 60% threshold for consistency percentage. His consecutive makes average was 1.78, good enough for 15th, but his consecutive miss average put him at 137th. Meaning he'd have longer cold streaks than any other top shooter, including J.R. Smith. Now, let's look at which shooters were elite in both consistency and field goal percentage. Kyle Korver tops the list at 90.3%, with Pablo Prigioni right behind him in second. You'll notice other players regarded as sharpshooters in this list, but some notables are Spencer Hawes and Jordan Farmar, who has quietly made himself into an elite three-point shooter. Steph Curry just missed making the consistency top 10, but did come in at 10th in field goal percentage. So don't worry, he's clearly an elite shooter and extremely consistent. One has to imagine if he cut down on a few of his pull-up threes, how far up these lists he'd go. An interesting side note is that the Knicks' new triangle offense needs shooters, and they have 2 of the top 6 consistent shooters in the league, plus Carmelo Anthony, who ranks 26th in consistency and 23rd in field goal percentage. Focusing on the least consistent shooters in the group, Tony Wroten was the most inconsistent shooter in the league. Only 4 players averaged less consecutive threes than he did, and only 3 players averaged more consecutive misses. Josh Smith made it into this list, so not only did he shoot a horrid 26.4% from three-point land, but he took over 3 a game. If Knicks fans needed more fuel to their Bargnani fire, his three-point shooting was among the most inconsistently bad. Of note, Ersan Ilyasova made it into this list, but based on his previous 2 years, one must wonder if he's due for a rebound. So, who are the shooters that have a good three-point percentage but low consistency average? We've already mentioned J.R. Smith, who I believe could be the best three-point shooter in the league if he'd ever learned to take better shots. And Mo Williams also struggled by bunching up his makes and misses. Jamal Crawford struggles with shot selection, which is why he's prone to sudden hot streaks and extended cold streaks. And finally, these are the guys that simply shouldn't be shooting threes at all. While their consistency percentage is decent, their shooting percentages are low, meaning they are consistently bad shooters. Draymond Green tops this list with a healthy consistency percentage that ranks him 25th in the league, but a three-point field goal percentage that has him 149th. And how do the top scorers in the league stack up? Kevin Durant ranked 46th in consistency percentage and 54th in field goal percentage, while LeBron James was just above him at 45th and 52nd, both in the top quarter of three-point shooters in the league. So be careful when you see a player with a good three-point field goal percentage, since he just might be one of those players that drives coaches crazy with poor shot selection and inconsistent performance. While it's great to see a player go on a huge run and make a bunch of threes in a row, it's even worse if his eyes get too wide and he starts jacking up bad shots and goes on a long missing spree. Don't miss our article at our website where you can see the full table on every player in the NBA. So there you have it, sports fans. That's what it means to be either consistent or inconsistent, and that's who we found that were in those categories. Mark, let's talk briefly about another cool thing that we're releasing tomorrow about the whole NBA, and give us some insight into what that means and what that's going to be.
Yeah, to launch our new.com that we talked about, we're bringing out an ebook season preview. It's about 130 pages long, and we're going to go into depth about every single NBA team. We're going to do things about certain players. It's going to be a very in-depth ebook produced by our new team. I think it's a high-quality piece, and we're giving it away.
Fantastic. So if you want to know about your team, we cover all 30 in there. Really great analysis. So check that out, the website with the link here in the description. And also don't miss the article that we wrote about the consistency of shooting in our website as well. Generally, every video we're going to have a companion article. So don't forget to get over there and bookmark BBallBreakdown.com. And don't forget, at BBallBreakdown, we're not a channel, we're a conversation. You in? Are you in, Mark?
I'm in.